There's Heidi Fore.
Hi.
Hi. Hi, all the way from Jamaica.
Yes,
How are
all the
you?
way from Jamaica. How are you today?
I am excellent. How are you?
Very well, thank you. Are you
Okay.
able to hear me and see me okay?
Yes, very well. Thank you. So thank you so much for taking time today. I know you're extremely busy and extremely scheduled as well.
It's my
Um,
pleasure.
Heidi, you are a MAPS coach and a mega agent. However, you do hold a few more titles as well.
Uh, yeah, well, of course, I'm a mom as well. That's one of my titles. Yeah, I am a MAPS coach. I get to be a MAPS coach for 31 MAPS clients, which is wonderful. I absolutely love being a MAPS coach. And my team, real estate team, has locations in Louisville, Kentucky, and Southern Indiana, Cincinnati, Ohio, and Charleston, South Carolina. We've got a great group of agents, and I have the pleasure of being one of the leaders of the group.
Yeah. And so when
Oh,
did you
and
start?
Jamaica, of course. We sell
How,
houses in Jamaica.
yeah. So you started, um, I can't help but bring this to everyone's attention, which they're going to see by just seeing you. You're a stunningly beautiful woman. You just are. And you started modeling. Um, and then family changes things, and then you got into real estate.
Yeah, I had an amazing opportunity to actually live in New York and in Milan as a fashion model. And I took that opportunity and was able to see the world and make friends from many different countries. And, you know, when life happens, you show up. And when my dad got cancer and my mom needed me, my grandpa needed me, and my little brothers and sister needed me, I decided that the fun was over and I didn't need to be a fashion model in Milan. I could just, be just as happy in Kentucky. So that's when I went back to Kentucky and started real estate. I thought,
Right.
what could I do where I would be able to provide a good lifestyle, to support myself? I was young, like 23, and still be able to have flexibility to take my dad to the doctors and go take care of grandpa and go to my brother's football games. So
Right.
real estate is obviously great for people who take care of families because you do get to be your own boss and set your own hours.
Right. And then you grew real estate, and then you leveraged, and then you grew a big life with that. And then take us through the journey of how did you get in contact with whatever it is in Jamaica?
Sure. So when I first came to Keller Williams, I was intrigued with this concept of a seventh level team. I decided that I was either going to find a different way to do real estate or I just wanted to get out of real estate because I was just burning out. And at Keller Williams, they have so many different opportunities of things you can do and people you can be, roles you can have.
Yeah.
And yeah, and so I came to Keller as a solo agent and then quickly leveraged what I was doing by hiring an assistant and hiring a buyer agent and then just following that red book one page at a time, line by line, just decided to follow that red book and eventually was able to grow this team through my amazing partner, Kristen Brockett.
There's either a lag or a phone call or a text, maybe. You gotta love Facebook Live. She'll come back. Let's see. Let's bring her back. Hang on. Oh no, she was just getting good. we go. There we go.
Am I back?
You're back. Hey.
Okay. Yeah, but so at Keller Williams, it was during Bold when I realized that I had this calling to help kids without parents. And I went all over the world to pursue how I could use the talents and the skills that we learned at Keller Williams to help kids without parents that were transitioning out of orphanages, out of group homes, and entering life on their own. And I realized that so many of the skills we learned at Bold could be taught to teenagers to help them create a life by design. And,
Yes.
and what if we were able to take the concepts from the one thing and teach it to people that were 16, 17, 18 years old and about to live life on their own? How can we teach them goal setting to the now? How can we teach them to envision a life bigger than what they are already envisioning for themselves?
Yeah.
And how can we help them be dependent on no one and to live a life of independence?
Yeah.
And so I went to Uganda for a week. I went to Ethiopia for a week. I went to Russia for a week, teaching these concepts and getting in relationship with organizations around the world that were also feeling called to create a trajectory shift for these children that are 16, 17, 18-year-olds that have no one to care for them once they're out of the orphanage. And so I went with different organizations, and it was when I came to volunteer in Jamaica that I felt like this is where I can make a difference.
Yeah.
This is where I'm supposed to be. And I felt like these kids need me, and I can make a difference here. And I have a wonderful, wonderful team in Kentucky that said, go. This is what you need to do. Go. We got you. We got your back. We'll take care of the clients. You do what you need to do to follow your calling. And to just have such an amazing team in Kentucky that does this. It's incredible. So in 2015, I moved to Jamaica. With my husband and our and two kids. They were 4 and 6 at the time. Now they're 7 and 9.
So wait a minute. I just can't imagine the conversation when you come home with your husband. You're like, hey, honey, so we're going to move to Jamaica. Forget all this in Kentucky. So, okay, next. I mean, what is that conversation like?
Pretty much. He is very supportive, and he knew that I had this like emptiness in searching for my purpose. I just felt like I wasn't filled up. And I just felt like with everything that I'd been given, that I have an obligation, a responsibility to use it to make the world better. And he knew that I'd been searching for this for years, and that it was on my heart that this was what needed to happen. And he's pretty easygoing, and it takes just a lot of trust and faith that God's going to provide us with what we need. And if this is truly what we feel called to do, then we have to trust that everything's going to work out. And in Bold, we say, you fear or faith, you choose.
Yeah, fear. Do not worry, for the birds do not worry where they find their food, for I will provide.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we knew that if we followed what God was calling us to do, that somehow it would all be okay. And just took that leap of faith, found somebody to rent our house, sold our cars, and jumped.
Wow.
Jumped. And
awesome.
And it's been hard. It's been been challenging, and it's been okay. You learn every day, no matter where you are.
Oh, well, that's the hope, that you do have still peaks and valleys, because that continues the growth.
That's right. Yeah, absolutely.
So you need that for sure. And so you already had a child, and your little one went with you.
We had so we had 2 boys. They were 4 and 6.
Okay.
And when we arrived at the children's home in Jamaica, we lived there for a month, for 30 days, and we were just searching to figure out where we were going to make a difference here at this children's home. And our biggest challenge at that time was, how do I stay a good mom for my 4 and 6-year-olds? And I have 26 other kids now that are wanting my attention also. And we realized that we were going to have to make a choice of, and plus I was still helping with the real estate and getting the real estate thing situated.
Sure.
Like, how can I still serve my agents in Kentucky and all that? And I was just really feeling unfocused and like I wasn't really doing 100% good job in any area.
Yeah.
So what we decided to do was move off campus from where the children's home is and live nearby in a house that's nearby where we could still serve at the children's home and keep relationships there and just not live there all the time. So I could be able to focus on one thing at a time. And when I'm there, I'm focused on there. And wherever you are, be there 100% emotionally and mentally and physically. And when I'm with my with the 2 kids I brought from the States, be there for them too. And then when I'm in my office at work, be there 100%. So it's been my growth opportunity has been really around being present wherever you are.
Right. So you had to create your boundaries in order to learn to be present wherever you were.
Right. Yeah. Because I felt like I was just feeling everybody all the time when I was trying to do all of it all the time.
Right.
So that was definitely a growth opportunity there. And it's been a lesson on being present. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then you created your own nonprofit.
Yes. So I found there's a great organization, a couple great organizations here that support teenagers while they're in the children's home. And so I went to a couple different children's homes where teenage girls live. They're 12 to 18. And I taught them some business planning skills. And I took some of the career visioning questions and we role played them being the interviewee. And I coached them on how to have a good interview. When you walk into an interview, to how to hold your shoulders and your head and introduce yourself and what to wear. And we just went through interview basics. And then we talked about using your strengths and what kind of jobs would be good for you considering your strengths. And we went through what could their life look like in 3 years or 4 years or 5.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Uh-oh. Did it again. There
we
you
went
are.
through there I am. So we role play interviewing with them being the interviewee and what kind of jobs that they might have. And then we did vision boards, right? We do dream boards of what they want their life to look like. And we talked about like the basics of income and expenses, because I want them to, when they do go get a job, to understand the employer and employee relationship and to be able to be a good employee and to be able to interview well. So I wanted them to understand business basics and some marketing basics. And then we actually have them set up a small business in class where they make products, candles and fragrances.
Yeah.
And that's been super fun. And so then we have a whiteboard where we list out what did all of these supplies cost to make these candles and fragrances. And how much does the gift bag cost? We put it in. How much do the stickers cost to put on the outside? And then they can see how much each item costs. And then we figure out, who would you sell it to? How much would they be able to pay for it? Therefore, what is your cost and profit per item? How many items does it take in a month for you to be able to pay rent, to provide transportation to get to work, to provide for groceries, and how much do you have left over for entertainment? And we do like the Dave Ramsey envelope system of cash and help them budget their cash for the month based on how many products they could sell. And so we do this whole like business of and like a microcosm of just teaching business basics. And then my real estate team, the River Valley Group, they purchase the gifts from the students in the class and we give them as closing gifts.
Oh, very nice. So it's full circle.
So it comes back, yeah. And then we give it to the gift bags to our clients with a little note in there about where this gift bag was made and why it's important. And
that's awesome.
It's been great experience for us as teachers and the students seem to like it as well.
Yeah. What is your, so I know you went into modeling, Heidi, but do you have a business economic background?
Well, in school, I have a business degree. I studied marketing, and but really, I mean, this is my first career.
Yeah.
I can't count modeling.
I agree with that, because your public relations with all that is huge.
There you go.
Yeah.
So I love teaching business. I love talking business. It's fun. It's really fun helping kids think bigger and helping people think bigger. I know whether it's clients, coaching clients, or team members, or kids in the business skills program, we love helping people think bigger. And what we've found is that when you surround yourself with people that support a vision and the big why, things happen faster, and real estate becomes really fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and frankly, you're teaching economics that we're not teaching our children here in the U.S. in many ways. Business economics and even budgeting sense and things like that at home that we're not teaching our children anymore here. So that's interesting. And how could we take that to another level here? That's something to think on.
Well, it's Gary Keller with his KW Kids Can is changing that and doing a great job opening up those conversations. And so I started looking at what he's done and saying, how can we take this to kids without parents? So because as you said, sometimes kids who have parents don't think about teaching their kids that. And so there's a guarantee that kids without parents aren't getting that. And they need to know that in the real world, there is income and expenses of a business, and you can be a job, you can be a manager, you can be a sole proprietor, and let's actually talk about money and where it comes from and how to spend it in a smart way. And
right.
The biggest lesson that I spend the most amount of time on is the effective choices on how and we draw out just turning points in a life, and how when you make a choice at this point in life, it can go either towards the life that you have envisioned for yourself and you put on your vision board, or it can get you further away from that life. And we talk through what those choices are, and the choices that you make when you're 7 or 8 years old really don't affect how your life turns out. The choices you make when you're 18 are
huge.
I
firmly believe life is about choices and expectations.
That's right. And every choice you make has a consequence of some kind. There is always a result, and it always either gets you closer to or further away from your truly perfect life. And so we talk about with these kids, like, what do you want to happen in your life, and which of those things comes first? And are you willing to give up some things now to have that life later?
Right. Because there's always going to be a sacrifice. I mean, by moving to Jamaica, you're not back home with your family anymore as much as you used
my mother reminds me constantly.
I'm sure she does. Aren't they great for that, those mothers?
Yes. So, there is a sacrifice, and what you focus on expands. And I definitely have felt where I'm not focused, and I can see that and learn lessons from that, and I can see where what I have focused on has led to some good results. Like, for example, being here in Jamaica, I've been able to develop great relationships with Jamaican realtors, and specifically one Jamaican brokerage that has now become a Keller Williams and has a second location. So now we have 2 KWs on the island. There wasn't a year ago. So that's pretty fun to see. So what you focus on expands. And right now what we're focused on is setting up this foundation, or this charity, Choose, Live, Lead. And our long-term goal of it is to be able to sell enough houses and raise enough funding to buy a home for teenagers to move into once they age out of orphanages.
Right, because they age out at 18?
In Jamaica, it's 18. In the States, is 18. In Russia, it's 16.
Okay.
And
after that, they're on their own. They can't.
They are on their own, and only about 10% of them really. That's the average of the countries that I've looked at. About 10% are able to provide for themselves, live a life of independence, stay out of prison, stay out of gangs, and not get addicted to drugs or alcohol. About
Right.
10%. The other 90% don't. And they end up falling behind or dying way too young. And it's, if I can just move that a little bit, move that by 1% or 0.5% or 0.1%, then I will have been successful in this life and what I've been given. And that's the goal of our real estate team, is to lower the failure rate for orphans.
And so the name of the nonprofit again is
Choose, Live, Lead.
And chooselivelead.org is the website where
Yes.
one can go. And we're putting it on the group page. And is there a way that one, I mean, we can give to that monetarily, and then is it possible to come and visit you in Jamaica?
Yes, of course. Yes, please do. We have 3 different children's homes here just in the Montego Bay area that we serve, and we would welcome you here to come to Jamaica and see what amazing kids are living here. And if anybody would like closing gifts, we can make closing gifts for you and put your logo on the bag and give them to your clients.
Yeah, absolutely. That would be fantastic too. So there are lots of different avenues to work this. And then, and your team closed 127 transactions last year just in Louisville?
There were some other locations in there as well, mostly Louisville, Kentucky, where the Kentucky Derby is, if you're familiar with that. Yeah, but most of those were in the Louisville area, some other locations.
Right. And you mentioned you were able to, orchestrate the folding in of another company to join you on the island this last year as well. So, I mean, and then, and you already mentioned having the goal of getting another house for transitional children out of the home. You just want one house?
Our goal is to buy a house every year. That would be amazing. And we know that when we sell enough houses, we can make that happen. And so that's our why, and that's why we're in business, and that's who we are. So we'll just keep working the models and systems that KW has to sell enough houses to be able to buy a transitional home for children, teenagers that are too old to stay in the orphanage anymore.
You are the epitome of what we all hear and what is preached through Keller Williams, of the models and systems to fund a perfect life, to create leverage for your big why. And it is so cool, Heidi, to see you living it and with such grace. Truly, it is inspirational. I'm overwhelmed. I don't know what else to say. And then you are going to be on a panel at Family Reunion.
Yes. Well, it's actually a breakout session that I'm leading. So I'm going to be talking for an hour about Google tools and about how to use all of the tools that Google offers in the Google Suite to be more productive, to save time during the day, to get more done, and to be able to work from anywhere. Much of what our team uses are the Google tools, and we use it to work from everywhere, because we've got agents in Jamaica, and we've got one of our team members in the Philippines, a team member in New Jersey and South Carolina, and our team members everywhere. So using the Google tools definitely helps us stay connected. And yes, that will be on Monday, a family reunion. So please come to it. That'll be really fun.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing your story and your journey, Heidi. And like I said, we're going to post the link to the nonprofit, and so people can follow along, so people can give to you, so they can order their closing gifts, so that also goes back to your charity to fund your big why, to help the children. And hopefully others will be inspired to come and volunteer, not just their monetary gifts, but their time and energy as well. I think it's fantastic.
That would be great.
Thank you so much.
And we're on Facebook. We're at facebook.com/ChooseLiveLead.
Awesome.
Thank you. Bye.
So, thank you, Heidi. Have a great Tuesday.
Thank you. Thanks for the
Bye.
opportunity. Bye.